So guys, here we are once again behind the wheel of a Crown Vic, except this time it is a ride-along with the police Interceptor model. I'm not sure how loud it is up there because this model does have a bit more road noise than the LX model, especially with the tires that are on it. The Batu tires are winter tires. Need to get a couple better ones to replace those. I just need one tire actually, because I have a Goodyear Eagle RSA in the back as the other all-season. And there's generally just a bit less soundproofing at a P71. So I figured I'd do a bit of a video now that I've owned this car almost 2 weeks. I'll do a video. What are the pros and cons of owning a P71 versus, let's say, the civilian model? And I know it kind of relates a bit to the last video I did. I did have to rush the last video because I was in a bit of a hurry, so I do apologize for that. But generally the first con I'm going to say is the gas mileage is about 10 to 15% worse than that of the civilian model. So the civilian model, I was getting about 20 mile per gallon on average driving, and now I'm getting about 18 to maybe 19 mile per gallon with mixed driving. So that is one con to think about. The other thing is too, and I can also vouch for this based on the cars I've seen at auction, when you pick up one, you're probably gonna have to do some extra maintenance to it originally, just because they might have been sitting, or you're just trying to catch up with some of the things the department may not have done before the car retired. In my case, I did end up having to do the rear brakes on my car because the guy that I bought it from, he only drove it 8,000 miles within, not even 8,000 miles within the last 4.5 years of his ownership, plus it was stored in the winter. I did end up having to do the rear brakes, and I'm also trying to get all the fluids changed out. So the oil has been changed. I'm doing the coolant next, and then I'm trying to get the transmission serviced as well, so that'll take care of most of the big ones. Then eventually I'll get to doing the brake and the power steering fluid, which is just automatic transmission fluid. So really that's kind of the big things to watch for when you're looking at a P71. And I'm very lucky. I was underneath this car the other day. Oh yeah, I had to do the oil cooler lines as well. I forgot about that, which isn't too big of a job unless if you're dealing with a rusted bolt, which is what me and my friend were dealing with. So it took over an hour to change it, what's normally a 5-minute job. So like I said, guys, it's kind of the main thing to watch for when you are getting a P71 is just make sure the maintenance has been done. Obviously you probably won't run into that so much if you're buying it from private sale, because hopefully the owner that picked it up after the auction did those fluid changes and whatnot already. But besides that, this is a very good car. The only thing I need to get replaced now is the blend door actuator, and I'm pretty sure that went out just from the car not being used much at all, and obviously the vents not really getting their temperature changed too much from just neutral, and that's what it's stuck on. It's not stuck on cold or hot, it's just stuck on neutral, and it won't change. Usually they get stuck on cold or hot, but it's just stuck on neutral because that's where the guy had it, and he didn't change it like for the few years he owned the car. So that's really the last maintenance thing I have to do is tires, fluids, and the blend door actuator. Blend door actuator I'm not too worried about. I'll get the other stuff done. So those of you who are wondering what I paid for the car, I ended up spending only $2,700 on the purchase. Nova Scotia provincial taxes were, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Nova Scotia provincial taxes were $405. Getting a plate was $213, and the title transfer was $13. So I was in total into the car by about $3,300 and a few dollars here when I got it registered. Then I put on the rear brakes and got the oil cooler line change, which my friend all did for me. Like I said, the labor definitely went up when he was doing the oil cooler line just because it gets stuck. So anyway, no big deal. So I owed another $500 there. So all in all, I'm about $3,800 into the car. So I might be $4,000 by the time I get everything done the way I wanted it to be. So for a car that's got 75,000 miles and almost no idle hours, that's a steal. Gonna let this lady cross the street. The other thing I noticed with driving this P71 is the RCMP, this is their ghost car color. The other one that they have is very rarely a silver and also very rarely a blue. So this is their main ghost car color. So a few places I've driven to, whether it be fill up with gas, take back recyclable bottles or whatnot, people are like, oh, is that an old ghost car? So I have noticed a few more comments with this car, which is kind of funny. Oh, this person's backing in. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah, I was under this car just a few days ago, and I'd say there's hardly any rust on the undercarriage. I got very, very lucky. Super well undercoated. I actually moved some of the undercoat out of the way just so I could get a better view of the undercarriage, and there is hardly almost any rust, and that's amazing to have. The only spot I need to touch up on the actual body is the left rear door, because the vehicle wasn't an accident when it was in service. So the header panel, the front bumper cover, and the left door and the bottom of the left rear door, you can tell have been repainted. It wasn't that good of a paint job, so you can tell. So it's like a little bit of the paint's peeling back on the left rear door, so nothing big to worry about. There is a little bit of surface rust, but that's all it is. So honestly, I got a very, very good deal on this car and very happy with it. I enjoy the ride, the slightly harsher ride a bit more, better handling, better acceleration, and better sound than the LX model. But like I said, the thing you gotta watch out for is just definitely make sure maintenance is done. Gas mileage is gonna be worse, so that's the few things to just think about buying one of these versus a civilian model. Luckily, I knew what I was looking for in these cars, so I made out pretty good. I kind of figured it would need new brakes when I was doing the test drive, and sure enough it did. So, like I said, I paid $2,700 for this, and normally, otherwise, it'd probably be about, oh, I don't know. I'd probably be looking at $3,700 for one, and it would probably still need something with similar mileage and stuff like that. I know it's older, but the fact that it hasn't been winter driven for 4 or 5 winters, plus the fact that it was undercoated heavily beforehand, this car will last a very long time. I really don't want to drive this car in the winter at all, so I'm going to try and find a smaller Corolla or something to drive as the winter beater and good on gas. The other thing I'm going to do too is, guys, I hope, is to make a bit of money off of Crown Vics, because I do enjoy working with them and whatnot, and buy a couple at the auction, do a few repairs, and sell them for a few $100 extra. I mean, just something fun to do, make a bit of extra cash. I ended up being able to sell my civilian Crown Vic within 2 days. I put it up for $3,200. I was super honest throughout my whole ad. I said it's got rust in a few spots of surface rust. Left front fender pretty rusty, and the right side fender isn't as bad but still has some rust. So I was just super honest in my ad, and honestly people appreciated that. So one guy came and looked at it, offered me $2,300. I didn't want to go that low. I wanted at least about $25, so I settled for $24, which isn't too bad. The car at 170,000 kilometers, but like I said, it's going to need a new left front fender eventually. But now I see that that guy is trying to title jump the vehicle. So what I did is I sent in my slip saying that I sold the car to protect my own butt. So now he's going to end up being forced to register that vehicle under his name and pay the taxes for it. Not my problem. So yeah, like I said, guys, you can see as we're just riding along here in the Crown Vic, this is a very smooth ride. Like I said, a little bit firmer, maybe a little bit louder than the civilian model, but I'm fine with that. I've only come onto this car full throttle once, and I don't really want to do it much at all until I get the transmission serviced and get some new fluid in there. the coolant looks like it's about 10 years old, so that's why I decided to go with that first before I did anything else. Kind of a crappy day outside. It doesn't know what it wants to do. It's been rainy a couple times, been sunny a little bit, so I was going to wax one of my friend's cars for them, but I didn't feel like there'd be much point. Because if it rains right after, what's the point? Have the stock radio in here, which turns up to max sometimes by its own, which is a known glitch with the P71 radios. Very crappy radio. I waxed this car the other day. I got the inside shampooed as far as the rubber floors go. So if any of you are wondering how to clean the Armor All, if any of you are wondering how to clean the rubber floor, honestly, the best thing that I did for it is I just took a thing of soap and water and scrubbed it, and they turned out like new. So don't need to shine it with Armor All or anything. I heard that makes the floor way too slippery. Just honestly take soap and water to your rubber floors, and the dirt and grime will all come off without an issue. And honestly, they look like brand new floors now. I got the rest of the car cleaned out. She's ready to roll. It was funny when the guy came to test drive my P74 civilian model. This is a P71 Interceptor. He definitely seemed like he wanted to purchase the P71 instead of the P74, but I'm obviously not going to be selling this one. I have zero intentions of doing that unless someone was like, hey, here's $4,500. Then I would, but otherwise, no. Hopefully I haven't bored you guys by talking too much or too little. Just thought, like I said, thought I'd do a nice video and just take you guys on a ride in the Interceptor. I've noticed driving this where it's the same color as the old ghost cars or unmarked cars that the RCMP had. I get a lot more double looks, but won't be too bad within about 6 months when everyone gets used to the car and knows it's not a cop. Took off the mud flaps that had hookers on them. So yeah, they're gone. Got rid of my bitches. Yeah, it's just a very nice riding car. One of the rims has a small bend in it, and I can feel it on the highway. I'm pretty sure it's in the left front. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end the video here because I don't know if you'll be able to hear me too well once I get onto the highway. I promise I'll do a 0 to 60 video soon, but I'm definitely going to wait for the transmission to get serviced, make sure that's all good. I don't want to do any damage to it if it just in the event that it's got old fluid in it, not worth it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know I pumped out a lot of Crown Vic videos recently, and some of you probably want me to get a RCRP video or something out, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you all have a great day.